Peter and Paul grew up with different views to show. One from a bankrupt farm in town, the other from a hardened ghetto. But both of them heard the call just as soon as they turned 18. Said goodbye to their families, heading off to become Marines. Two young men didn't like each other 'cause of skin. The DEI screams you better tighten things up. There's a war we're trying to win. Neither of them...
Hi there, my name's Jennifer Selke. I'm the Director of Veteran Programs here at Camp Southern Ground. We're located just south of the Atlanta Airport in Fayetteville. I want to tell you about a couple of our programs. First of all, our flagship program is called Warrior Week. In that program, we're specifically helping veterans find their new purpose after service. What is it that they're going to do once their military career is over? That program starts with 6 days here at Camp Southern Ground, where we focus on areas of well-being, helping you figure out what your strengths are, figuring out your own kind of personality, what motivates you, and have that great social time with other veterans. Once those 6 days are up, you're on a journey, a 12-month journey with content around well-being. We have monthly calls, and we're in touch with each cohort so that you can continue that growth. One of the things that veterans say after coming to that program is that they never knew that they could do other types of jobs besides the one they were given when they were in the military. And it just opens up an immense amount of opportunities for them. Also, another assessment that we do in that program is called Clifton Strengths. That assessment is used by over 90% of Fortune 500 companies. And it helps veterans understand how they are awesome, how they are excellent, what their talents are, so that they can start thinking about where can I use those talents. That's a big part of our program. The second program that we offer is called Warrior Path. That program is specifically for veterans, combat veterans, that are struggling with some type of trauma. Specifically, that program is 7 days here on site at Camp Southern Ground. And then it follows on with an 18-month curriculum that you are going to experience with your cohort that comes through the program with you. This is based on a program developed by Boulder Crest Institute and is shrouded in this idea of post-traumatic growth, that you can experience highs that you had before trauma, that you can not only have the life that you had before, but even a better life than you thought possible. And it's specifically a training program that helps you cope with the combat history that you may have experienced. Those two programs really round out what we offer here for veterans at Camp Southern Ground. And we're running programs every month except for June and July. So we would love for you to consider spending some time here with us where we can help you, whether it's through finding work that you love or healing from combat trauma. We want to be your first thought in veteran programming.
Hello, I'm Darrick Marchant. I'm one of the veteran team members here. I'm a 21-year Navy veteran. I was a hospital corpsman senior chief, went all around the world from combat to executive medicine, dealing with mental health issues, all kinds of trauma and different things. And one of the biggest things that I have come to know at being part of the group here at Camp Southern Ground and the veteran team is that these programs here are 100% on point. And I'll tell you that because I actually went to Warrior Week in 2020 and it was phenomenal. It changed my life. I retired in 2018 and I left the Navy with a great career, but I was missing something. And for 2 years, I struggled with college and with jobs and different things and trying to get a solid piece of where I fit and where I belonged in the world and in society. And it wasn't until I came through the Warrior Week program that I found that connection point. And here, it's where I built a community of friends and fellow veterans that actually taught me about my strengths and showed me the direction of where I needed to go with my career. Anyone that's out there that's dealing with trauma on a constant basis, they find themselves trapped. They find themselves in a place where they can't connect. They shut themselves down, they shut themselves out from the rest of the community, and then they find themselves alone. That's what our programs focus in on. It's building that community and finding a well-being point where we can go forward and touching on 5 different aspects of that. And that's so important because having your strengths coupled with warrior well-being, that's money. That's where we have a different approach to many things that other programs out there, especially for veteran programs, it makes a difference because I can't go to a place that I don't trust. I'm also a combat veteran. I know exactly how it feels, and I know exactly what it's like to feel alone and isolated. And that's one of the things that we reach out to our community as veterans to share and talk about PATH and talk about Warrior Week, because those are opportunities for us to get those individuals, those veterans, a better fighting chance against being alone, finding themselves in a suicide ideation or any type of mental health issue. So for us, we're here and we stay here.
Hello, I'm Dr. Brenda LaVar. I'm the president of the board of NAMI Greater Houston. But what I want to talk about is NAMI, the National Alliance on Mental Illness. NAMI as an organization is more than 40 years old. We have affiliates all over the country. We have more than 300,000 members, and we are NAMI Greater Houston here locally, but our affiliates range in all the areas of the state. There are 29 different affiliates in the state of Texas alone. But NAMI, the National Alliance on Mental Illness, is really a group of families and individuals with serious mental illness who have decided to come together to do a number of things. One is to support each other. One is to be sure that there's education about mental illness. And 3, to advocate for the people who may be suffering and families who may be suffering because of the illness. So just to let you know a little bit about our advocacy work is not only at the local level, but at the state level here in Texas, because we have a state affiliate, NAMI Texas, and actually every state has an affiliate. And we have a national organization that has its main office in Arlington, Virginia. So we work at the state level, at the local level, and at the national level to ensure that those things that are most important to all of us, and there are a lot of areas of need, those things that are important to all of us are addressed. And what we do by coming together is to ensure that people feel supported, that they know that if there is one thing they're not, is alone. Because mental illness affects 1 in 5 people. That's right. If you counted 5 people sitting around you, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, at least one of them has been affected by mental illness. So whether it was with a child, whether it was with an adolescent, whether it was with an adult, everybody has come in contact with the need for services to support individuals with mental illness. And of course, supporting their families. Because the families, like all of us that are part of NAMI, realize that it's not just that you're not alone that's important, but it's important to know where do you get access and how do you get access to the services that your particular family member needs. And now I'll turn it over to Neal Sarahan. Dr. Sarahan is our Executive Director here at NAMI Greater Houston to talk a little bit about the programs that we offer here.
As with many of us, our involvement with NAMI is about personal lived experience with mental illness. And when we talk about serious mental illness, a lot of times people forget about the fact that the major mental illnesses that are being experienced around the country are anxiety and depression. This is very, very important because we are living in a time when anxiety and depression are the norm. Anxiety and depression are the largest causes of timeout and loss of productivity in the business sector, and that was before COVID. So when we talk about serious mental illness, I want us to have the whole framework of schizophrenia and bipolar and depression and anxiety, and to understand that in this culture we are enormously challenged. All of us are vulnerable, and we are enormously challenged at this time with the mental balance that all of us need to proceed in our life.
All right, hi, I'm Mike Kelly with Camp Gladiator. I'm an adult outdoor group fitness program in the Sugar Land, Missouri City area, but we are located across the nation. I'm here to talk to you a little bit about what we do today. So what we do normally is have a group of individuals. We go through some movement preparation drills, things of that nature. Then I would take you through about 45, 50 minutes of exercise. Some things that we do out there: squats, push-ups, sit-ups, just the normal basic things you do coming up in PE as a child, right? So one thing I want you to know is fitness is not short-term. There are no quick fixes. It's a lifestyle. So this is a habit you want to keep and maintain, right? It's like maintenance. It's maintenance for your body. Treat your body like a car, right? A luxury car. You want to put the best things in it, best foods, best nutrients, and movement is just another vessel to that. Movement's the 20%, the nutrition is the 80, all right? So once you combine those things and put those two things together, you're on your way. Now, right, let's talk about why we do these things outdoors, why we do this outside. It's for that vitamin D. This is great right here. I'm feeling great already just being out here. It's gonna boost your endorphins, make you feel happy, and that's what we all want long term, right? So come make this be a part of your day. And if it's not with me, just get outside. I would love for you to just get outside, go for a walk, go for a bike ride, go do anything to get active, and let's reverse this trend of depression and feeling down. We have a great community out there as well. So when you come out to these camps with us at Camp Gladiator, you're gonna meet tons of people. So that might be a place where you're feeling lonely at home, something you can look forward to day in and day out, meeting up with your friends, texting, talking, calling, talking about where you're gonna go work out for the day, because we have thousands of locations for you all, okay? So come out, have some great fun with your friends out with us at Camp Gladiator. Thank you.
Hi, my name's Eric. I am the founder of Operation Yellowbird. Operation Yellowbird was kind of founded in the interim between me exiting service and the official founding of 2017. Just used to go out and backpack and kind of do my own thing, and then one day I decided to take a couple guys with me, and 2 vets turned into 10, turned into 20, and I think our largest group to date has been 60-something people. We do a lot of different things. We backpack, we hike, we do off-roading, and obviously we do mountain biking. And one of the reasons why we do that is you come out here in this environment and you're among the birds, the trees, the sunshine, and suddenly you're not even thinking about any of the stresses and issues that, you know, kind of plague our community, that lead to that 22 a day number. All you're thinking about is the ride and the next 3 seconds, you know, the next turn up ahead, the next drop, the next climb. Do I brake? Do I pedal? The other stuff that's floating around in the background of your head just kind of fades away. And so coming out here and riding our bikes, especially with, you know, a good group of guys and gals, it just brings back that old camaraderie that we all miss while we were in the service. And so, you know, you come on the trails and you just have a good time and you forget about everything. You know, it's just endorphins and adrenaline. I like to call it adrenal zen, because it's part adrenaline and part zen, and it kind of all comes together into this, and it's a really great time.
What got me running into this group was, you know, I'm sure pretty much every single vet out there, you know, whether you're active or you're reserves, you know, at least one close friend or one close buddy that, you know, checked out. They fell to that number. And unfortunately, you know, mental health is kind of something that, you know, isn't well taken care of in the service to a certain extent. We want to let them know that they're not in the fight alone. You know, we took care of each other in the military. When we leave, we have a new purpose to help our brothers and our sisters who are having a hard time. So this is one of the missions of our group. We want to bring positivity to those vets who are going through a hard time.
I'm Renee Vania-Tomczak, President and CEO of Mental Health America of Greater Houston. I have worked in the mental health industry for about 10 years. And as most people who work in mental health have very personal reasons for this. Family members who have experienced mental health concerns. And I'm proud to be a part of the solution and getting resources to those who need the resources. At Mental Health America of Greater Houston, our work is driven by providing community solutions to promote mental health for all. Much of our work is as a convener of partners to shift conditions that hold problems in place. The work of Mental Health America is rooted in the philosophy of before stage 4. What that means is when someone is diagnosed with cancer or heart disease, we immediately take action to treat those symptoms to reduce the progression of these diseases. Like other diseases that I've mentioned, it is critical we do the same with behavioral and mental health concerns to put people on a path to overall wellness. In addition to our overarching work in education and advocacy, we work collaboratively in 3 primary areas. With treatment courts to serve justice-involved veterans so they can return to home and to health. With physical and mental health entities, we work to integrate care to serve the whole person. And our Center for School Behavioral Health is working with administrators, teachers, counselors, and other student-facing people to recognize behavioral health concerns. We then provide technical assistance and training to support the well-being of all students. While our general geography is the Greater Houston area, we have taken our expertise in dealing with the mental health impact of natural disasters, particularly those on children, to serve the communities of Puerto Rico, Florida, and the Virgin Islands. I encourage everyone who may be concerned about their own mental health to take a mental health screening through our website at mhahouston.org. It's the easiest way to begin what many see as a difficult process to share that you have a concern with others. It's free and confidential, and you can print it to start the conversation with a loved one or a doctor.
Hello, my name is Christy Chatham, and I am the Director of Veterans Behavioral Health for Mental Health America of Greater Houston. I've been in the mental health field since I worked with the VA around 2013. I worked at the Michael E. DeBakey VA Medical Center here in Houston. I had a short break, and when I returned back home to Houston in 2016, I returned back into the mental health field. And my initial return, my work was specifically for and with women veterans. And then I've been with Mental Health America of Greater Houston for about 1.5 years. The work that we do for the Veterans Behavioral Health Program, it's comprised of 2 components. 2 major components. Our military veteran peer network. We work with Texas Veterans Commission, Harris, and the Harris Center. And through that collaboration, we are the military veteran peer network regional coordinators for the state of Texas. And we build a peer mentoring cohort. We train mentors to provide mentorship to our veterans in Veterans Treatment Court, and also other veterans that need assistance. So if they need assistance with a VA claim, or even veterans that are in the middle of a crisis. So if they need emergency financial assistance, we partner with other community organizations to ensure that they receive that. We also help them file their claims. We help them in their familial situations. So whenever a family member or like a dependent, like a child or a wife, if they need supportive services like marital counseling, we partner with Easter Seals of Greater Houston to give them an alternative to counseling. And the other component of our program is Veterans Treatment Court. We are the peer mentoring component in Harris County and in Galveston County. The Veterans Treatment Court participants are paired. They are paired with mentors, and those mentors have either previously gone through Veterans Treatment Court and successfully graduated, or they're veterans that have experienced the same chemical dependency or substance abuse or justice involvement. Those mentors help them navigate through the process of Veterans Treatment Court. Misdemeanor and felony courts, it can take up to 2 to 3 years to complete, but our program and our mentors are right alongside them the entire way. So we ensure that we give them support, we help them in crisis as well, and we also provide different types of training, like suicide prevention training, MVPN basic training. So we equip our mentors to be able to provide effective mentorship and guidance to our Veterans Treatment Court mentors. And we also provide a military cultural competency training as well.
Hello, I'm Kevin Woods. I'm a United States Navy veteran, served 5 years aboard the USS John C. Stennis, working in crash and salvage, and today my present role is working with the Veterans Behavioral Health Program underneath Mental Health of America of Greater Houston as a Veteran Treatment Court Mentoring and Wellness Coordinator. After returning home from service, I struggled with that transition and no longer having that sense of purpose, that sense of service, kind of feeling down on myself, and I decided to start self-medicating with alcohol, which led to 3 different suicide attempts where I tasted a shotgun barrel twice and attempted to drown myself once. My family went and tried to look for help for me, but I kept denying the help, saying I didn't have a problem, trying to mask it the best I could, which resulted in me getting arrested and being charged with the DWI on December 21st, 2016. While sitting in that jail cell, I knew I had a choice to make, and that choice was if I wanted my life to change, I needed to be that change. Whenever I walked out of jail, I made a commitment to myself that I would never touch alcohol again, and I would start changing my environment and the ones that were around me. From there, I found my first mentor by actually discussing the boots that we were wearing, which led to books, which led to further conversation and him becoming a mentor of mine. During that mentoring process, he realized that mentoring me, he was mentoring himself at the same time, and we were both growing together, where we decided to work through a mentorship development program. Having a mentor and learning what mentoring truly was something that I can honestly say saved my life, and I give full credit to that gentleman for taking the time out of his day to ensure that I was growing and learning what post-traumatic growth was, and knowing that post-traumatic growth is greater than post-traumatic stress. Today in my role, I recruit, train, and assist mentors, mentoring participants that are going through the veteran treatment courts in Harris County and Galveston County. Everyone in life deserves to have a mentor, and I tried my best to present that everyone needs a mentor. No matter if you're the President of the United States or you're a CEO of a company, there's still someone in your corner that needs to be mentoring you and being that accountability partner for you. In the treatment courts, we assist the participants in not only successfully completing the program that is designed for them, but assisted them in growth outside the court. Our mentors aren't just with the mentees through their court process or with them through life. In 2008, the Veteran Treatment Court started up in New York, and it was later brought into the Harris County and blossomed out of Harris County from a gentleman of Judge Mark Carter. He started the Felony Veteran Treatment Court he started it because he started seeing veterans coming in front of his bench and realizing that they all had something in common. And the thing that was in common was they were not receiving the help that, one, they deserve, and two, that they needed. So he started looking further into it and decided to come up with a veteran treatment court where he could tailor programs specifically for each participant that are going through the treatment to receive the proper treatment that they deserve. Where if they're with the WI, they're taking alcohol MAD classes and different therapy, anger. They have different therapy classes and treatment programs for them as well. Getting them involved in that VA system where they're able to get the help when the help is needed. And since then, there's been 5 years later, the misdemeanor court started in Harris County, and then it says blossom all over the U.S. Judge Carter had it in his heart to change the lives of veterans, and even though he's not sitting on the bench today, he's still changing the lives of veterans from a program that he started here. It's giving the veterans a second chance in life and not just giving them a handout. He's giving them a helping hand to better assist their life and their family's life to better support not only them, their family, but also the community.
PTSD Foundation of America was established as far as our mission goes and what we do in 2009. To start hitting the streets of downtown Houston, the statistic in our city at that time was 1 out of every 3 adult homeless persons were veterans. The numbers were shocking. The VA was telling us at that time that we were losing 14 veterans every single day to suicide. What we wanted to do is try to meet those veterans who were struggling in crisis, see what we could do to help them move forward. So we run today support groups for our veterans and for family members. The support group for veterans, we run across the city of Houston, the state of Texas, and across the country. We are literally a coast-to-coast organization. And it is for combat-related post-traumatic stress disorder. So what that means is someone who's been in combat theater. They may or may not have been firing or been fired at. We've had medics, Navy corpsmen. We've had contractors who have gone out with those in combat situations to do translating and that type of thing. Combat-related post-traumatic stress, those are in our support groups. And we help them understand what actually happened in the brain, what PTSD does to the brain, the rewiring of it. We help them understand that and then to start addressing the issues that are resulting from that. And then the coping tools. How do we go forward? How do we deal with this? Because if there's no actual healing of PTSD, then how do we cope with it going forward? So we do those in our support groups. For the families of our veterans and those who've been in combat, we also run support groups for the family members. Same idea, help them understand what happened to Johnny while he was at war, why he's so different after coming home, and helping family members understand that allowing and even supporting continued bad decisions is the wrong way to go. So we help them understand what happened in the brain and how they can be an actual support system to their loved one after coming home. And look, we can all kind of understand it to some degree. Mom and dad are just so glad their son, their daughter is home from war. Their arms, their legs, they look fine. They even seem fine for a while. But what happened to them? And they're just so excited and they'll do anything for them. And sometimes they become the worst enablers for very bad choices, very bad habits, very bad decisions. So we help the family members understand that, what it means to actually really help your loved one come home from war when they bring that war home with them. Those programs run hand in hand with our programs for our combat veterans. Everything we do, by the way, is absolutely free. Those programs are all peer-to-peer based. We do use a curriculum in the combat veteran program. We use Combat Trauma Healing Manual by Chris Adsit. And then for the family members, we use When War Comes Home, the sister publication, also written by Chris Adsit. You can find all that information on our website. It's ptsdusa.org. Those groups are based on a weekly meeting that happen again across the city of Houston, across the state of Texas, and across the country. So you can find out days and times, and of course with COVID, we have transferred a lot of those over to Zoom meetings, so you can be anywhere in the country. You don't have to be in a place where we operate support groups, but you can log into those Zoom meetings. We also run Zoom meetings for first responders, law enforcement as well. All that again is free and absolutely confidential. Here we are on the campus of Camp Hope. It's also our headquarters of the PTSD Foundation of America, which is a 501c3 nonprofit. Camp Hope is the residential portion, or the residential program, for our combat-related PTSD veterans.
Fight! Fight!
Hi, my name is Dr. Cliff Robertson Jr., and I'm the Executive Director of the Warriors Refuge. We are a veterans homeless shelter, counseling center, and vocational resource hub. And I'm here today to talk to you about veteran homelessness and how that happens. And I'll tell you a little bit of my story as well, because I'm not only a director of a shelter, I've actually been a resident in a shelter as well. Veterans, when they go through what all they go through to become military members is pretty dramatic. They go from being on the street with whatever challenges they're going through, whatever, to some pretty intense training. I remember hearing one gentleman's story is, and this was he's a Vietnam vet, and he told me a story that he went from dropping out of college in December to his first firefight in March in Vietnam. It was pretty dramatic turnaround. And when you go through that, it does something to you. One of the things that a lot of people don't realize is that mentally, to go from nobody shooting at you to being afraid for your very life can alter the way that you think, can alter your own body and blood chemistry, and it can impact you in ways that you can't even begin to foresee. I have a cousin who was a command driver for a colonel in Iraq, and he tells me the story about raining metal and what's called the pink mist. Some of the vehicles around him were subject to IED explosions, improvised explosive devices. And when he got back, he couldn't leave his room for 2 months. If the door ever shut very loudly, he was rattled beyond belief. It damaged him on the inside. A decade later, he's finally where he can talk about it and really be interactive, but it caused him a lot of distress. And he had a very, very supportive family and was able to work through it. And he eventually went back to college and began to work through some of his challenges and issues, and now is happily married with kids and a career beyond anything he could imagine, but it took some time. If he hadn't had that supportive family, things would have been different. In fact, a lot of times when things go differently, it's not necessarily just because he didn't have a supportive family. It could be because he doesn't think his family, or she doesn't think their family will understand. And they end up losing jobs, they end up getting on drugs, or they end up going down a path that leads them to criminal behavior. And oftentimes they end up homeless. In fact, right now, at any given time in America, there can be up to 100,000 veterans sleeping on the streets that are classified as homeless. The number will vary greatly depending upon who they are and where they are. Sometimes the number has been as low as 30,000. Most recently, it's been as high as a little over 100. And a lot of that may have had to do with COVID-19. But what I also want to tell you is that sometimes the reason for homelessness isn't necessarily PTSD. It can also be because a man or a woman loses everything and they don't know what to do. It's some of the standard reasons for homelessness. They get sick, or they go through a horrible tragedy and they have a breakdown because of it and they lose everything. My story is that I went through some horrible times. I lost my wife and little girl in a car accident, and I ended up losing everything. And I found myself in a place where I needed somewhere to go. And that was a veterans homeless shelter in Tyler, Texas. And I spent 120 days there, and it became a launching pad for me. It allowed me to get back on my feet. It allowed me to get out of that crisis mode where I didn't know what to do or where to go. It allowed me to begin to breathe again and take a shower and all the things that you need in order to be able to take that next step. And the case management and counseling that was offered allowed me to begin to step into reality again, step into the job market again. Now, one of the things I want to tell you is that if you're watching this today and you need some help, you need a place to go, you need a safe place to be, and you don't know where to begin, I want you to reach out to us. I do, because we will do all we can to help. Can we help everybody? No. But we do try. We offer not just housing, but transportation. We offer counseling, both mental health and chemical dependency. In fact, we're getting ready to start a new program where we're collaborating with the University of Southern California on a PTSD assessment and virtual reality counseling approach that is really changing the way that things are done. It's really shown some great progress. So I want to encourage you to do that. And maybe you're a veteran that is struggling to find that next job, finding a career. You don't know how your previous training relates, or you just need to do something different and you don't know where to begin. Well, we can help you with that too. We are putting together some training programs as we speak that will allow you to get some heavy equipment training, get some computer training, as well as some other projects we're working on that are yet to be announced. But what I want you to hear from me today is, if you're a veteran and you're in need, there's help. There is help for you. We are here for you. And if we can't help you, the chances are we can plug you into somebody who can. We are connected nationwide with people that do this in other places, that have other services. Something else that we've done recently is we've begun, because of space, we've begun to actually send bus tickets to various points around the country to bring people here who couldn't find a place anywhere else. We've been to California, we've been to Tennessee. We're getting ready to send some bus tickets to New York, simply because we have space and others don't. But we want to help if we can.
My name is Rick Miller. I am a retired Navy officer, captain, and I spent 30 years in the Navy. I was a naval aviator. But most recently, I worked in the Texas legislature as a state rep for District 26. And now I am the interim executive director for a great organization called Impact a Hero. A little history of Impact a Hero. It started back about 2005. In Ohio, in Cincinnati, Ohio, and then the next year moved because of the board members. They moved to the Greater Houston area, and specifically to Fort Bend County. And during the next 10 years, Impact a Hero raised money every year to give to our veterans, our wounded warriors, primarily coming back from Iraq and Afghanistan. In the last couple of years, transitioned a little bit into post-traumatic growth, and helping our veterans with PTSD and TBI, traumatic brain injury. And then we went through a reorganization period this past year in 2020. Of course, 2020 was the COVID year, right, where not much happened, but we did reorganize. I was a board member and then transitioned into the executive director role to complete that reorganization with staff and what we're doing program-wise. So right now, our programs are featured in a banner, under a banner of leadership and personal growth. We think it's important that we help our veterans, and we've branched out now to include active service members for the National Guard Reserve, those who are stationed in the area, to accomplish our mission, which is to make a positive influence on the life of our veterans and service members. And so we do that through a series of programs that we've now put in place under the Leadership and Personal Growth banner. One of the first programs that we have reinstituted was our grant program. I just mentioned that Impact to Hero did that primarily for about 10 or 11, 12 years, is gave money, gave grants to our wounded warriors. Well, we've reinstituted that program, and we've given 4 grants to date. And along with that, if we're going to give money, give fish to our veterans and service members, we're going to ask them, we're going to teach them to fish. And so we're going to require that they attend one of our other 2 programs, which is a financial fitness class. And so this is to help them with their financial resources and planning, and how they administer those resources in a productive life. The second program that we've instituted is a 30-hour leadership academy. This is a personal growth and personal development program focusing primarily on leadership, teamwork, high-performing teams, and a personal growth plan where at the end of the 30-hour program, they have to, each member who attends this class has to stand up in front of their group and their peers and tell the group what they're going to do, what their personal plan is for now and the future of their life. So with that, we're also focusing on affiliating with the right organizations who are already in the post-traumatic growth arena. They are professionals, they know what they're doing, and we can do a collaborative effort with these organizations like Mighty Oaks or different organizations that we've been talking with to get our veterans with this issue, with this PTSD and TBI. We can help them with that health and help them heal. And so, a 4th program that we're going to put in place this coming summer is in a professional development arena for young veterans or veterans who are experiencing, or not experiencing, but are starting a business. Young entrepreneurs, programs that will help them set up their company, run their company, and understand the financial aspects of that company. So that's our program area, those 4 or 5 main areas. That's what we're doing. We've completed 1 leadership academy so far, and multiple financial fitness classes so far, and all very successful. We have a tremendous board of directors now that's part of our organization. They're all part of helping us achieve the success, and our success is directly related to how we help our veterans. And so that's our primary focus. We have events planned this year. We have our first event. We're doing a 5K, 10K kids run event on May the 22nd at Constellation Field here in Sugar Land. And then on May the 27th is our first gathering of people, our VIP Friends of Impact to Hero, where we've invited 50 to 60 to 70 people, past supporters of our organization and others, new ones, to come and gather and hear about what we're doing, hear our story, and hear how we're helping our veterans. So, and then we have, coming up in the fall, we have an Over the Edge event where people can rappel down a building if they so choose to do so, and help us raise some money to do that. And then we have planned motorcyclist ride, a bicycle ride, and then a gala around the Veterans Day timeframe in November. So that's our schedule, that's our events, and that's what we're all about. We're excited about our future and what we're doing. We're mostly excited about how we're going to help our veterans.
Hello, I'm Heather Hernandez-Cedillo with Reigning Strength Therapeutic Horsemanship here in Richmond, Texas. We're a Professional Association of Therapeutic Horsemanship International accredited center. And I want to talk a little bit about equine-assisted activities and therapies and the benefit in regards to mental health. Horses are a great way to experience some connection. Working with animals in general, but specifically horses, is a really good way to interact with another living being. There's no judgment. Horses are incapable of judging. They're also incapable of lying. They're 100% honest. So for our individuals that are working on, have various mental health needs, just interacting with the horse can give them that opportunity to get that connection, that unconditional positive regard from the horse. So I'm here with Morales today. He's one of our equine staff members, and he's pretty incredible, pretty intuitive animal. And I would just really encourage you, if you're struggling with something, with depression, anxiety, if you're considering suicide, considering harming yourself, to reach out and connect. Make a connection, get involved with the program, whether you become a client or get out and volunteer, talk to someone, go interact with animals, whether it's a horse or dogs or cats or any kind of rescue. Be involved with some animals and get out there and connect. So here at Reigning Strength, we work with individuals with physical, cognitive, social, and emotional needs. And that's really broad. Some of our clients are survivors of abuse and violence, and maybe they don't come from a place where they're able to explore a trusting relationship with other human beings yet. But a horse can be a wonderful bridge to experience that connection and that trust in a safe environment. In order to interact in a positive way with the horse, you have to have a mutual respect and a trusting relationship. So that's one way that horses can really benefit. There's the empowerment aspect of working with a 1,000-pound animal and telling them to go right and left and stop and trot and maybe run at your command, and having that connection and that interaction is really empowering.
Hi, I'm Andy Myers, County Commissioner Precinct 3 in Fort Bend County, and I'm here to talk about our veterans and our first responders. Our first responders and our veterans are all very important to us. We have a very large number of retired veterans in my precinct, and I always have an open door for them, and they can contact me at any time. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you my cell phone number so that if you have any issues at all and you need to contact somebody, you can contact me. I'm available at all hours, most of the day, obviously. That phone number is 832-338-1199. And please don't hesitate to contact me if there's anything you need. And we want to make certain that we support our veterans and our first responders, and that they understand that the entire community looks up to them for their service and are very thankful and grateful for that service. And we want to make certain that they have every opportunity to get whatever help that they need at any time.
Okay, hi, my name is Chad Watts. I'm founder of Scarlet Stripes Coffee. Scarlet Stripes Coffee was started with the idea that our military brothers and sisters deserve a better reintegration process. And so what we're doing is we're teaching veterans how to become entrepreneurs based on ability to go out and become better communicators by going to farmers markets, selling the coffee as a means for cognitive engagement. So if we can do what we're doing well, we'll be able to have a touch point between their military service career all the way into their civilian world. And so what we're doing is being able to sit down with a well-integrated veteran to then teach a young veteran coming out or a service member on how to reintegrate back into civilian life, give them confidence, and with confidence becomes emboldened, and you can start to develop what the skills you need to be successful in civilian life. So we're creating a sense of belonging, communities of veterans, which consists of a ranked structure that they're familiar with, accountability to their brother and sister, and earned income. We're not a hand-out system, we're a hand-up. And so that's the uniqueness of what we're doing, is that if you look at the fact that we're becoming somewhat of a real working laboratory, so we can bring veterans in and we can set them up in a real controlled environment. We have a we call it Dress Right Dress, set up for our banner stand, table covers, tents that we have that are branded, And then what they do is we can role play on how to talk about coffee and sell coffee, and then on a Saturday morning we go to a farmer's market and we go live.
Hi, I'm Brandon Baxley with Scars and Stripes Command Leadership. I've been with the company for about 2 years now, and my full-time job is working in law enforcement. I served in the Oklahoma National Guard as an infantryman from 2000 to 2006 and deployed from 03 to 04. And one of the biggest things that people join the military for is the camaraderie. They love the brother and the sisterhood, bringing each veteran together, or each service member at the time. We love hanging out together, you know, just that sense of being together. So a lot of veterans miss that when they go from the military world back to the civilian world, because you just don't talk to civilian buddies the same as you do your military friends. So for me, when I was looking for that type of camaraderie, I found it in law enforcement. I had a desire and a passion to help others, like most do, to get into law enforcement and make a difference. But one area that I was specialized in a little bit at my department was a veteran liaison with an outside group to help with veterans and mental health. So as a CIT officer, crisis intervention officer. So I gained that training, that knowledge to be able to go out and talk to our veterans that need help right then and provide them resources like NAMI and other ones local, our crisis center, or our insured, ones that are insured, you know, centers and stuff like that. So I already had that connection with the veterans in that role. And so when I met Chad and we further discussed Scars and Stripes, initially I was like, I don't know if that's the fit for me. But as we got to thinking about it, kind of seeing the mission play out, like most of it, we're like, man, it's solid. So I wanted to jump on board, and it worked out well. And as a leader, I've seen it firsthand. We have a guy that signed up from Texas who was struggling, mental health, desire to get back. He was actually out of state living. He came back and he's like, this is what I needed, you know, breaking down, telling me this is the structure I needed, this is the camaraderie I needed. And then we had it locally in Oklahoma, which is where we're founded, where we had a veteran team member. She was struggling. She came on board and she's blossomed. She never wanted to be in the spotlight. She never wanted to be talking to people, get out in that type of interaction. She wanted to be an introvert. But being a part of this company and wanting that camaraderie back, she got it, and then she flourished at it and is now one of our excellent leaders, one of our best sellers, and she can train and react and see people and see the need, and her team members rely on her for her to be able to call her, for them to be able to call her and when they need help. And so that's what we see. So it's a great combination between getting veteran help, you know, hopefully reducing suicide rate. We're not a suicide company, prevention company, but we want to be able to, we think our mission can bring veterans to the point where they'll have somebody to talk to, or be the camaraderie that they're used to. They won't go to that deep, dark place that drove them to that.
Second, it was gone.